it gave me the great opportunity to spend a whole year doing anything that I liked and developing my technique and developing film. And so out of that experience of Sheffield, I began to focus on particular industries that had had a major role in shaping the landscapes around them. What I often say is that I make pictures of non-romantic places, but I compose them in a very romantic and classical way. A lot of the places that I photograph wouldn't be your classical beauty spots. A lot of the industrial views that I've photographed would be places that most people would try and avoid. Oh yeah? Yes. But I am interested in these places of industry and urban development, which are important because it shows a sense of our collective human progress. Whether we like it or not, we are responsible for the environments that we live in. And what I'm often interested in the landscape is the layers of history that are revealed by the buildings that still exist. The tide's out, it's just coming in. It's I'd like to make the picture fairly quickly because I'd still like to see these sandbanks in the Mersey estuary rather than it being full of water. I'm just waiting for anything added extra that might be interesting. The lighting is fairly flat. I do prefer a bit more contrast. There's a bike, 2 bikes. So we've got the cyclists down there. And they might come into the more visible, so I'll do another picture depending where they go. There's a lot of information in my pictures, and that's what I like. I bring my own experience to the views I see. You don't particularly need to have some academic critic, curator to tell you what you can see in a picture. It's often the way I go about making pictures, just a reaction of things that I see, but that I recognise as being important. I don't always know what it is that is of interest, but I know there's something significant happening. I can't always describe what it is. There's certain things I understand about the things I'm photographing, but there's also a lot of things I don't. And even though people have said, you know, with the new digital technology, you don't need a tripod anymore, the advantage about tripods is you set the picture up exactly as you want it. You don't have to hold it if you need to wait around for a while. If the light is changing or there's people coming into view, you've got the picture framed up exactly as you want it. What are these? I think these are all France. Yeah, because I haven't put I haven't put all my negatives away. Yeah, that's all France. There was quite a lot of political activity. It was also at the height of Thatcher's reign. I was questioning the way in which I had been working, travelling hundreds of miles to find wild landscapes, when my lifestyle evolved around urban living in cities. So I decided to investigate the city that I was living in, which was Sheffield. I dealt with making pictures of Sheffield the same way that I'd dealt with making pictures of landscapes in the Lake District from high vantage points. And Sheffield lent itself to this style of photography because it's built upon several hills. Somewhere I will have, and there were various other vantage points from the tall buildings. Well, I found the one from today, the negative from Runcorn Bridge, and I should have the Sheffield picture in here somewhere. I mean, at the time in 1981, if you were, most pictures of buildings were made from an architectural point of view, and there were pictures made from the street level, just looking at individual buildings, and I was more interested in how different buildings and structures were all part of a complex infrastructure. I think I've got. I think one of the Sheffield pictures is 5x4. So I think it's important for me not only to make aesthetically pleasing pictures, but to show the importance of the thing itself and its function. Interesting. So this is the negative from the view that I made overlooking Ward's End Cemetery. It was the winter time, the light was very low on the horizon and coming into the lens, so the dark slide that I pulled out from the dark slide holder where this film was in, I used as a shade to block out the direct sunlight, so to avoid any flare, to get a sharper image. So that's the negative from the picture that I've just shown you that will be in the exhibition. And the other negative I have, the view overlooking Walkley. I'll just leave it in the folder with these other pictures. So this is the picture that I made through a small hole in the window on probably the 7th floor or something like that. And as you can see, that this is the shape of the gap in the window, which I've had to crop off for the frame that I've chosen. And I've also cropped off that side a little bit. But this is the central area of the picture that I printed up. And this one next to it is actually City Road pigeon lofts. You can't quite see it, it's quite subtle, but there's a flock of pigeons flying in the sky there. But there is a fair bit of detail in these dark areas, which you can see in the photograph, the finished print.